Another thing that I just wanted to mention, because I do think it's important, is like, I think when a lot of businesses think of, well, I mean, when they think of productivity, maybe more when they think about efficiency, they start to look at, some businesses will start to look at the balance sheet, the spreadsheets, the financials, and then start to make decisions. Instead of looking at productivity, they'll look at, how do we just cut costs because things are not going well. Instead of going like, how do we improve productivity so the business can become profitable again?
Hmm.
They go, how do we cut costs so businesses can become profitable? And then in doing that, you see massive layoffs, and
Yeah.
you do see that, happening when ultimately going back to that original article that we were sort of talking about, the Bank of Canada referencing productivity. One of the things that they talk about is like improving productivity is a good way to sort of stave off inflation.
Hmm.
And if you're a business and you're going through an inflationary economy, one of the things that you often see during that time is mass layoffs. And I think it's because businesses, instead of looking at how to improve productivity so that they can, at that point in time, stay afloat, or ideally they're doing it before the recession occurs and they can stay ahead, they become reactive instead of proactive. And then they just look at, okay, we're going through economic hard times here and we need to just lay people off. And I do
Yeah.
think that's a common trend you see, and I think that obviously there's circumstances that are very challenging and things that are sometimes necessitate that. But I do think for the most part that if businesses focused on how to improve productivity while times are good, then you can continue to function, operate, and even in many cases grow even during hard economic times.
Yeah, I mean that's a really interesting thing. I mean, productivity doesn't say how much you pay somebody. It's just what do you produce in an hour.
Yeah.
It's based on time of your life. It's not based on it's not based on how much you're spending on employees or anything like that. I think the interesting thing about productivity for sure is that the higher productivity for everybody in the whole country means better quality of life. And I
Yeah.
think when it comes to productivity, you're right, it's hard. I think unfortunately it is easier to look at instead of productivity to look at how much are you paying, how much, what is your labor cost or something like that, and then just look to continue to slash it. And I think it's easy to spend without much planning, and it's easy to cut spending. Those
Yeah.
are those are two relatively easy things to do, but
Crude
it's hard
tools,
to
very
increase
crude tools.
productivity.
Yeah.
So I can, when things when money comes by easily, it's easy to throw more resources at anything. And
Yeah.
then when money becomes tighter, it's easy to cut jobs, cut things, right? But it's an ongoing problem to say, what do we do with the things that we have and the time that we have? And I think that's where the productivity question sometimes gets left behind because it's the harder thing. It's you really got to look at the company. You really got to look at what is everybody doing at any given moment in that company, and what are ways that I can identify that there's a productivity issue. There's not a labor cost issue. There is not a headcount issue. How do I identify and then help to fix a productivity issue?
Yeah.